Yo, so we back at it again with another build video. I'm trying to update and get all my builds out. Without further ado, let us get into the Templar. Alright, so we have 34 points in the health, 30 in the stamina. It's big beefy stat pools. Not much else to say. You can swing this around however you want. This is just what I feel is best to me and for me. Smoked bear haunch is our food. We are running the lady. This is going to give us a little added tankiness, and we are not struggling for damage on this build at all or sustain. So I decided to take, tankier Mundus Stone. You can add more damage with Lover. Other suggestions are Lord for health and, Serpent or Atra if you just want to go overboard on the resources and don't feel like you can sustain, because we are stage 4 vampire. However, I do not have those problems due to the sets we are wearing and being used to running this a lot on a lot of my builds. Alright, we are an Imperial. This also helps with sustain. And max health and max stam are not bad for resources and survivability, as well as damage. This perk also is a sustain perk. Getting into the skills. We are running an oddball skill on this, Wrecking Blow. It gives us a source of major berserk, increasing our damage. And it's incredibly easy to keep uptime on this because this is really the only skill, one of two skills we have to weave in between this. So it's really easy to keep up at all times. Feel free to run biting jabs. You can easily just swap this out. I wouldn't recommend it because on a build like this, the tooltip is severely low. But if you want to take off the Defendus Mundus or change out the monster set and add more damage to the build, feel free. I wouldn't, but it's always there if you need it. Binding Javelin, one of the best CCs in the game. This cannot be blocked, and it goes right through their resistances, so it's hard hitting as well. It's going to chunk their health as you throw it. Would not trade this for anything. Our flex spot, I am using Magical Soul. This does magic damage. Restores magicka and stamina for us, so if you need stamina in a pinch, it's there, and the magicka return just lowers this cost down to 2100, helping with sustain. And it afflicts breach. Since we are sorting board, we are not running ice staff for Elisus. I wanted to form a breach to be able to do more damage because really our only source of damage on this build outside of ultimates is Wrecking Blow. So yeah, this is another form of damage and it just helps our burst to get through. Really don't need much on this. We're just trying to line up some bursts, get them low, about half health, CC them, and go into our ultimate or our radiant, depending on how their health looks. Rally. This is also not needed on this build. Once again, jabs gives you the major brutality. I like it because it's just a set it and forget it skill. And it's also really nice and clutch, like if you set it and you're stuck on your back bar and things are waning or not going your way or you're low on magic or something. Rally just goes off, but definitely not needed. You could put anything here. Something like Purge would be just as effective, and you wouldn't need a burst heal because your hots are ticking crazy. So keep that in mind. But you would also have to run jabs, or you could add a major brutality and sorcery to this skill. So keep that in mind. You're not set in stone. If you still like the Wrecking Blow playstyle, just add a skill, a contingency with major brutality or major sorcery, and you're a-okay. Okay, and we have our execute. Not much to say. Get them low, beam them from range. That's it. Our alts, I use both of these during stream. I'll include footage. I know a lot of people like footage in the build videos. This one's good because you can get your radiance off. It's hard hitting, and it's going to put your already beefy armor up to even beefier levels. We have a lot of resistances on this build. We're running the lady, pop vigor. Yeah, pretty good back and front bar, so you can get insane numbers with this ultimate up and running. But I do also run Crescent. It's very good, it's very cheap, and yeah, it's very strong. Actually, that dot and the initial hit hurt, so keep that in mind. I run both. Spell wall, back bars, the whole reason we're running sword and board. There's way too much range damage out there, and I don't just use this defensively. I can go offensive. They pop a bow out if they're spamming frags and range damage. I pop this and I can immediately go into like Wrecking Blow, CC them if I need to be. Obviously, I'm going to fraction them, but you know, In a pinch, I'm just going to wreck and blow, CC them, and go into beam, and they're going to wonder why they're dying. They're literally killing themselves. I recommend using this against ranged builds if you have the chance, especially in a 1vx situation. This is our form of major resolve. It also gives us stamina return while we're blocking. It heals us. What more can I say? Vigor, our heal. Not much to say. Race against time, our mobility and snare removal. You need mobility and snare removal in Cyril, or you're walking duck, unless you're Zerging or in a small group, large group, period. But this is a solo build. Living Dart. So powerful. This is heals. This is reducing movement speed for those who are chasing you and trying to catch up to our speedy build. This build has a lot of speed on it, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute. It's also healing, and it helps when you're standing in your room, and or purge if you have it. Now, under the dead, what can I say? Burst heal. I prefer this over the scribing skill, but you can run what you want. That's just my choice. Alright, we've already noticed we were an Imperial. That's it for skills. Let's jump into the gear. We are running Wretched Vitality front bar. This is a set it and forget it skill. It's going to carry our sustain needs. We're not going to be hurting for magicka, stamina, either or. Of course, things happen and you run out in pressured situations, but all in all, if you manage it correctly, sharpen, wretched, maul, it's easy. And you proc this with rally just easily. Just remember to press rally, easy. It procs both conditions of Wretched Vitality. You don't have to think about it. Poisons. I'm going back and forth between poisons and an absorb stamina enchant, but you can do either. The poisons are a lot of pressure and they count as an execute. So you can imagine you get the poisons on them and you go into a radiant, you're double executing them right now. So pretty fun to play around with, but absorb stamina is fun too. Rallying Cry back bar. I went precise just to get a little more crit chance on my back bar in order to proc my Rallying Cry more. We have enough heals that it's cycling through that it's okay, but we just want to be sure we get that off. Shield sturdy. I would prefer Impin, but I'm not sure. There are times where I have to block excessively and a lot. And the Magicka Glyph, because if we're on our back bar, we want those skills to be hitting, bursting, and be able to spend as much as we want on them. So sturdy's fine. You can go Impin. You can go well fitted even if you wanted to, but I think my top two choices are sturdy and Impin, and powered and precise. We are running Bloodspawn. Our alt Crescent is incredibly cheap, and our Sword and Board alt we want up at all times if we need it, as well as sometimes we use expensive 2H alt. And while it's 153 on this build because it's templar, reduced cost passes, and as well as Imperial, still rather expensive, but with Bloodspawn makes it dirt cheap. Keep that in mind. And a heavy Bloodspawn helmet. Also, it's a line of recovery, so, and it gives you physical and spell resistance. So when you see these numbers pop up, just add on the Bloodspawn to it, and we are at the resistance cap. I put cap in quotes because penetration exists, so there's technically no cap. But if somebody was to hit you and they have 0 penetration, it'd be like hitting a wet noodle. So yeah, that's part of where part of our tankiness comes from. Just we're actually over the cap when Bloodspawn procs, even on front bar, so keep that in mind. Wretched, heavy Cuirass, heavy Bloodspawn shoulder, light Rallying Cry sash. We're running all Impin, by the way, and all try enchant glyphs. We are running medium bracers, 1 heavy trainee, and we're running medium boots. Now you can mix and match this how you please. I kind of like to have 3 or more heavy. The reason why is if you get in a pinch and you activate your heavy attack to get back more resources on either bar, it will indeed be more resource restore, and you don't have to just spam these hoping to get resource back. You can hit it and let your recoveries do the rest. Really great in a pinch. If you don't heavy attack or medium weave, I suggest you do in between your fights, even from the back bar, quick one. You have a chance to proc your glyph, your poison, anything else. So yeah, keep that in mind. But yeah, we are running Satan Seducer. This one is Swift with spell damage enchant. Swift helps us be fast on this build. We're running 2 Swift and 1 infused Rallying Cry ring, so both of them. But I like speed, man. Speed is survivability. Mobility is survivability, and that's what you need. Open world. Get away from your enemies. Live to fight another day if things get out of control and you can't handle it. So yeah, Chain Seducer is great. This is going to buff our damage even more. It's just a pure damage. It's going to buff our damage, and it's going to debuff their damage in so many different ways. So this also adds to our survivability and our damage at the same time. And it affects everyone. The radius is so huge. Not everyone, but, I mean, if you're getting Zerd, man, those people are right on top of you, and you're going to have a huge range. You can see the circle around you. They're going to be in there getting debuffed, and you're going to be getting buffed. And once you see the color of your choice, mainly orange or white, you can go super offensive. You can go offensive without it to keep up the pressure. But once you see your proc, let it loose, let it loose, let it loose. But yeah, that's it for the gear. Some things I run slottables. I use tripods on this build, and just self-detection pots, I think they are a must. And yeah, we already went over the food, which is bear haunch, and these to regulate our vampire state. Last but not least, let's get into these champion points. That's definitely not champion points. Let's get into these champion points. All right, we're running Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, Gifted Rider, Steve's Blessing. These are whatever you want, but I think Rationer, especially since the cost of food is high, and Liquid Efficiency, potions. I mean, you don't want to waste them. But yeah. Here we are running Untamed Aggression. This is a damage bonus. It's going to apply damage. We are running Duelist Sleep Rebuff. This is our only defensive CP because of Rallying Cry. We don't really need to run the crit resist CP, so yeah, we're running 3 damage CP, 1 defense CP. Deadly Aim and Master at Arms get the most out of our Wrecking Blow damage and anything else we are doing on this build. Alright, so yeah, 3 damage CP. You can mix and match how you choose, but I mean, that's why we have so much damage and nuke people. They're not expecting a Wrecking Blow Templar to hit them that hard, and then all of a sudden the damage. Not to mention we're cycling through Major Berserk always. We're cycling through it with this, and we're cycling through it with our Mythic. So I imagine we get Major Berserk up on, you know, through our Wrecking Blow, and then we get Major Courage up at the same time. You know, then we're starting to see some things. We're starting to see some huge numbers, so keep that in mind. And we're running Celerity for more. I know this is not necessary, but we're running it for more speed, survival instincts. This is just to supplement our core combat skills. I run it on dang near every build. Super important. I mean, it's hella sustained. 25% cost reduction. I mean, you'd be silly not to. Relentlessness. This is for more major protection. I think we have major protection on this build, do we? We do not. So it's a source of it. It's a free source in CP. Why not get it? And Pain's Refuge, defensive CP. Alright, man. That's going to be it for the Wrecking Plar PvP build. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I appreciate all the channel members, all the followers, all the likes, subs, shares, anyone that tunes into my streams, donates, anything in between. If you just come here to lurk, or you're just a newcomer, you wanted a Templar build video, this is it. I'm going to go ahead and get out y'all hair. Any questions, let me know, man. It's your boy, KLG Ouchie. Peace.